Talking about what?
The Jetstream Aqua Massage Northwest Race Car Show. And I was telling these guys how when we were walking through the mall, we bumped into one of the managers who was just kind of taking it, on their day off, come in and check the car show out. She looked at us, her jaw hit the floor, and she goes, "Oh my gosh!" She said, "We haven't had this many people in here since Christmas." I mean, this mall was packed.
So you're talking about Jimmy Buffett, the bunny didn't bring in that many people.
Peter Cottontail did not bring in that many people.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the phone we have Mr. Moxie Mike Patterson down there. Man, hey, how's it going, big guy?
Dude, not only is the temperature heating up down here, but boy, some of the tempers are heating up down here.
So
big races, the smell is in the air out here.
Yeah, well, I hope that's what it is and not anything else. But I'll tell you what, just got off the phone with Mr. Scott Schweitzer for Bakersfield. Man, he's talking about having everything, ready to go. He wanted to thank each and every one of us for coming down again. What have you heard down there? What's the hype and stuff down? Because you're in that neighborhood. You're right there each and every single day. What have you heard that's going on for Bakersfield for the Bud Nationals?
Well, the big thing this year for the Bud Nationals is some of the tracks in the area aren't finished with points in certain classes.
Oh, boy.
So we're going to see if some of those guys are going to sort of brave the gauntlet and go down to the Bud Nationals and still try to play afterwards and for their points races. Or if it's going to be I'm going to play it safe and just do points races this year.
So we talked to Scott, and Scott said he's already got 140 plus already registered to go in.
He said he's anticipating close to 200 entries this year.
Yeah, it's going to increase because, for one, the car counts in California have increased for a lot of the classes. American stocks, hobby stocks, pro stocks, sport mods, they have all increased, and modifieds even as well.
So let's talk about the late models, because we know those numbers aren't increasing, Mike.
Late models, it's one of those things that a lot of guys come in and try to test the waters, and then when they realize that if they stick their foot in too far, a piranha's going to bite it off, they kind of shy away from that a little bit.
Well, we talked about that, on a previous show, talking about, the car count just 3 years ago for the late model division at the Budweiser Nationals was 42 or 44 cars. Last year it was 26. But that being said, the 26 cars that were there were, high quality 26 cars. There was no junk at that show.
Oh, no. And there's been models haven't ran for 3-4 weeks. So all they've been doing is going, okay, what can I do to make my car better for the Bud?
Well, and that's what we were talking about that earlier, too, is talking about, watching Facebook and kind of seeing, the drivers we know are going to be there are posting cars of, pictures of cars in the shops that have, half the bodies that are, they're putting on new skin, or they're dropping in a new motor for this show, or they're underneath the car doing something. We've seen a lot of that this last week on Facebook. These guys are gearing up. This is their show. This is their big race of the year.
Yeah, without a doubt. This is, points racing's fun and championships are fun, but you get a Budweiser guitar on your rack, no, nobody's going to say anything bad about you for that one.
So
right.
We do have some breaking news up here in the Northwest. We did find out that one driver that was going to go down, Mr. Joey Tanner, just decided at the last minute not to go. A little bit of money issues, some sponsor issues fell through, but Joey Tanner in the 111 late model is not going to make the Bakersfield Bud Nationals this year.
That's a tough one, and especially from guys up in your area. 16-hour tow is not a drop in the bucket for pocket change anymore.
Right.
It used to be we can go do that still and still make money out of it. With the talent that's in that class and the cost to run competitively, it's really an all-or-nothing type of deal. You're going up there not expecting to make money out of it unless you win.
And that's the thing too, is that's where, that's where a lot of these guys, especially, you talk about like Clay Daly, and you talk about some of the guys that came up for.
You're going to their playground.
Yeah,
You're going to their backyard to race the best that California has to offer on a track that you're only going to be on one time a year. That's a tough gig for these guys. Now, we've seen some Oregon guys come down there and be competitive, but even that is it's a tough thing. To make that show is a tough thing.
Right. You must be driving because you got a lot of background noise behind you. But we were, you're talking about some of the guys that, have these big sponsors, Clay Daly, Bobby Hogue, some of these guys, whatever, even the guys that came up from California to come up to Willamette Speedway, these are the guys that do the tour. These guys, are ready and already set, at the beginning of the season, knowing that that's where they're going to go. It is a shame that we won't see, some of the best, from up here in the Northwest make it down there, like Joey Tanner.
Joey, was actually pretty decent there last year. It's a learning experience.
Yeah.
Night one wasn't very kind to him. He's one of those guys that, I got an idea what the track's going to do, got an idea what I need to do to my car to make it get around this place. And he was fairly successful on night number 2. He had a good run.
Yeah.
Right.
He really did. I mean, it was, we're sitting at home watching online, and I'm going, Joey's doing good.
Yeah,
Joey, you look at the level of competition, the guys that came up for Claire Cup.
Right.
They held their own. These guys from California are absolutely no slouch. You've got to be on your A game.
Right, and that's the thing too, is that you think about it, and is your window open,
Mike?
Is your window open?
I think we lost him.
Mike Patterson.
Black flag him.
I think I'm losing you guys. I'm going right by the airport really quick right now.
Okay.
I might be losing you. Let me see if I can catch you once I get on the other side of this airport here.
All right, brother.
Yeah, there's a lot of background noise, but we will talk to you here in a little bit then, buddy.
A lot better. Yeah, give me about 5 minutes or so, and I'll get back with you.
Sounds
good, buddy.
Up here, and I'll give you a call.
Sounds good, bud. So that's a little, I'm like trying to drive. Apparently, had the phone out the window, listening to us. I mean, but man, he's excited. I'm excited. This is going to be something that you think about and you prep all year long. You talk about some of these drivers, and they prep all year long. Look at Colin Weinbarger, and the Weinbarger Racing Team. They have their dry race board and everything on there. He had it out from day 1 till to day 0 or in day 100 or whatever the case is, how they want to do it. He had a lot of opportunity and stuff to drive that sprint car that they have inside that shop. Just didn't get opportunity to do that, but he did races modified and late model. He's made some big races. He's made he's done what he's 90% that's on that board. But a lot of drivers that have done a lot of touring, Weinbarger, even John Campos, some of those guys, Drager, even Kenny Miller, when he got a chance to do that, they make it down on their board to get ready for the season.
Well, that's one thing too. When you start off in the racing season, Matthew and I do it every year. We get all the track schedules and we lay them out all side by side. Okay, this weekend, what are we doing? This weekend, what are we doing? This weekend, what are we doing? When are we going to have an off weekend? Because in reality, off weekends are just as important as racing, because if you're not going into it with a clear mind and a good car, you've got to have those off weekends to catch up.
Well, sometimes those off weekends is stuff you need, because maybe the week before the car got hurt, body panels. I mean, all that stuff takes time, especially when you have a quote 9-to-5 job or a day-to-day job.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, a lot of these guys, man. Even some of the big guys. Back east, I mean, they drive for somebody, or they have a big sponsor, and that's all they do is drive. But you get some of these guys that still work day to day, but put in 12 to 15 hours, working, and then having to go to the race shop and do that all week long just to go race for the next weekend.
Or you've got guys like Clay Daly that are in the race shop 12 to 18 hours a day.
That's right.
Working on customers' cars and trying to find time to do his own.
Right.
And help with setup and scaling cars and building bodies. And you look at, Twisted Motorsports, and they're always pushing something out the door for a customer.
Oh, yeah.
Clay and that crew are busy. He's pretty much a one-man gig. I mean, he gets a little help here and there, but for him to find time to, he makes racing his profession, and still to find time to drive his own car is hard for him.
Oh yeah, and that's where even like when we're hot and heavy, when the last 2 years with Matthew's program, I work my 40. Actually, at the time, it was a 50 and 60 hour a week job, 20 hours in the shop every week during the week.
Sure.
And then anywhere from 8 to 12 hours at the track. You got to find time to sleep. You got to find time to relax. I mean, it was not uncommon for Sundays. I'd wake up and get out of bed at 11 o'clock in the afternoon or in the morning, go out to the couch, turn on nap car, and then fall asleep.
Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dog would curl up in the couch next to me, and I'd fall asleep at 1 and wake up for the checkered flag.
Yeah.
And that was my Sunday. I mean, you've got to have those off weekends. It's good for the mind.
It's good for the body. I mean, it's a tough gig when you do it like,
No, what's good for the body is you come down a jet stream.
Absolutely. That'll get you straightened out real quick. But it's been exciting this last couple of weeks building up to the Bud Nationals. Our season's over and we kind of got a couple of weeks to relax, which was good. But on the back scenes, over here in the studio and stuff we're doing with communicating with teams and drivers and tracks and for next year.
And I don't think there's been in the last
we
week.
haven't had much time off.
In the last week, I think
other than racing.
The three of us the last week, even though I'm not going, we've been talking Budweiser and racing the entire time.
Who's calling in now?
Hi, welcome to Northwest Dirt News. Who's this?
Hey. It's that guy from California again.
Oh,
man.
What's up, buddy?
Mr. Palm Trees and Sunshine himself.
Yeah. Jerk. We're down here. We're down here drowning. Our fish are drowning, and you're out there living in board shorts and tank tops.
Mr. Mike Patterson is back.
You guys are wearing board shorts and tank tops too, but that's because you're on top of your little floaty thing floating around.
No, we're not, Mike. We're not wearing board shorts and tank tops. I'll tell you that.
The difference between California and Oregon: in California, you get a sunburn. In Oregon, you get a cloud burn.
Yeah, you just drown.
It's still I'm still trying to figure out how our Northwest meteorologists, what they call themselves, how can you sit there and say something's partly cloudy with what is it?
Partly sunny.
Partly cloudy with partly sunny day. Are you retarded? You done bumped your head. The meteorologists here in the Northwest are the most dumbest people I've ever heard on TV, where they sit there and go, "Oh, I'm looking outside and the radar don't say it's partly cloudy, mostly sunny." All right, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell you talking about. Because if it's partly cloudy,
get that down here too.
No.
There's no partly cloudy down there ever.
We just talked to Mr. Weatherman himself, Scott from Bakersfield.
He's saying high 80s.
Dude, he's saying it's hot as shoot down there.
Oh yeah, it's gonna bake butt out here.
How hot is it down there right now, Mike?
But
how hot is it down there?
It's right now. It's not too bad. It's pretty chilly outside right now. It's in the 50s.
So do we have to wear?
Cool.
Do we have to wear shorts at the beginning of the night and then wear pants at the end of the night?
That very well could be a strong possibility.
I'll take that. I'm good with that.
So
after last year, it was so hot. I couldn't wait to get. Here's the funny thing, and I was talking to Mike last year, and I was like, Mike, when was the last time you guys had rain down here? And Mike goes, well, it rained all week until you guys showed up. So it rained all week prior to the Bud Nationals. We get down there. It's 100 degrees for 3 days. I'm not kidding you. We get on the plane.
See, Mother Nature, she's cruel like that. She'll sit there and go.
We fly home. We get up the next morning.
Really nice for them and have great temperatures, but then.
Well, it rained all week for the Bud Nationals.
What can we throw at those Northwesterner guys to make them sweat it out a little?
Yeah, sweat. That was a little. Yeah, last year it was 100 degrees for 3 days. It rained all week prior. We get down there. It's just like, just insane hot for 3 days. We get on the plane on Sunday. We land. We wake up on Monday, and they've got flash floods down there.
Shut up.
Dead serious. Remember that, Mike, last year, the flash flooding?
Oh, yeah.
So
we got that one window, and it couldn't be warm. No, it had to be hot enough to make the devil side type heat.
So listen to this. This is something that Trisha brought up the other day. She sat there and she goes, are we next to I love her to death. She said something about, are we next to California? And I said, well, we are in a. And she goes, no, I mean L.A. I'm like, well, we're a little ways from L.A. And then she says, well, what about the San Andreas Fault? I'm like, what's your
Everybody's
point?
worried about